Greetings, friends. We are on the heels now of the great celebration we had Sunday, remembering the 4th of July, where our country declared itself to be independent from England. And during the Declaration of Independence, there were some powerful words. And I just want to share a few of these with you. Not all of them, but a few of them. It says, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever they form any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter, to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. And then it goes on from there. But what's important about this is that in a point in time, the forefathers of this country felt it necessary to disconnect themselves from a tyranny of a government and allow human beings like us to take rule under our divine Creator, which they recognize and acknowledge as the one who gives us those rights from heaven to pursue happiness and so on. And it's important to understand that the Constitution that came later, that was also framed around these principles. And then those Bill of Rights, those 10 Bill of Rights, which afforded us freedom of religion and press and the rights to assembly and to bear arms and so on, were all ascertained as they understood as God-given rights from heaven above to earth and to be implemented. I shared with you last time I spoke with you that I'd served in the Navy for 20 years, 12 years as an active duty chaplain, my last 8 in reserve. I shared with you that my dad had served in World War II in the cavalry. He was a D-Day vet and went across Europe from the beaches of Normandy all the way to Austria, where his outfit was assigned for 6 months to guard the King of Belgium. And then my dad came back in December. And I want you to know that when I became a Navy officer, I had to take an oath. My dad was enlisted. He had to take the same oath. Whether you're officer enlisted, man or woman, you have to take the oath. Whether you're Marines, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Army, it doesn't matter. We take the same oath. And I want to read this oath to you because it's important. It was important to me at the time when I took it. It says, I, Paul Teske, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. And when I took this oath, I remember how profound it was, how I felt about it. That I was declaring that I would stand up against enemies, foreign and domestic, against anybody that would try to bring down our Constitution, which in essence affords us the rights and the privileges that we hold sacred in this nation. And you know, and my prayer is that none of you who are listening to me or beyond will ever take for granted what God has given us in this great nation, the freedoms that have come down to us through the centuries now. And that we never lose the privileges that we have under the great Constitution that was ratified, I think, in 1789. It's important to understand that we are loyal not to just a flag or a nation, but to what it represents. God-given rights, and that we rise up and defend these, no matter what the cost. Because at any given moment, that we're susceptible to losing what we hold so sacred and dear. So as you celebrated a couple of days ago, the 4th of July, I hope you remember that the Declaration of Independence was there, declared for our freedoms. The Constitution was written, and the Bill of Rights to put in stone what we hold sacred, given to us from God. And I want you to keep this nation in your prayer always, that God would protect it. Look, we're not perfect. No human structure is ever perfect. But I believe what it stands for is for good and wholeness and protection. I think it's important to remember that. And maybe you need to go back and do a little research and to study this yourself to understand the importance of that. I am proud of this country, and I am delighted that I had the privilege of serving in the armed forces. And to understand what that meant and the importance of that task for people like you. I'm doing this for you. I'm sharing this with you. Just trying to open your eyes a little bit to what God has given us, that you too can cherish. Bring it near to your heart. Amen? Look, I hope this has been helpful. If you want to comment right now, hit the comment button and share your thoughts with me. I know many of you follow me, from around the world, aren't from the US of A. But I want you to understand that the United States of America stands for freedom. And it's not just for us, it's a worldwide privilege that everybody be free. Everybody appreciate and have the freedoms that we have in this country. Hit the comment button, go to my website, Paul Teske Ministries, hit the prayer button, I'll answer your prayer requests. Go to my YouTube page, Paul Teske Ministries. I've got teachings and testimonies there. And again, I'm doing this for one reason. I'm doing it for you. And I want you to go in peace, and I want you to serve the Lord. Amen? Amen. And all God's people said, amen.